I'm going to go over two exercises that are a really good combination for people to do who are really tight in the back of their hips. We talk about tightness in the back of the hips, it's almost always going to be glute medius, piriformis, those smaller stabilizing muscles in the back of the hip that allow us to abduct and externally rotate the hip. So when these muscles get really tight and restricted, they actually change the position that the head of your femur sets in the socket of your hip. So what we're going to try to do is first off stretch those muscles. We're going to isolate the glute medius and piriformis, try to get them to relax, to lengthen, reduce their tonus, allow for more range of motion. And then we're going to do a banded mobilization exercise using a distraction technique to help not only increase internal rotation, but to help get the head of that femur sitting a little bit better in the socket of that hip so it can articulate properly. So first off, the stretch. We're going to lay flat and get into figure 4. Get comfortable on your back. We're going to take one ankle. You're going to cross it over the opposite leg just under the knee, and make sure it's your ankle, not your calf or your shin. And we call it figure 4 because when you take your bottom leg off the floor, you should have a nice 90-degree angle at this knee and a nice 90-degree angle at this knee, and we have made that figure 4 shape. So left leg is crossed over the right thigh at the moment. You're going to keep your hips and low back heavy, flat, and relaxed. This is the hip, the leg that's crossed over that we're going to be stretching. There's a nice space between your legs. You're going to reach through the legs with the left arm. You're going to reach to the outside with your right arm so you can comfortably grab behind that right knee. Relax your head back and start pulling that right knee towards your chest. And as you pull, you're going to feel a very specific isolated stretch right on the outer backside of your hip. You're going to find that 7 to 8 of discomfort, that sticking point, and you're going to hold it and breathe for 30 to 60 seconds. Make sure you repeat that on both sides. Once you have done your figure 4 stretch, we're going to do our distraction technique using a band. So make sure you're comfortable. Do this on a nice padded surface, or if you have a balance pad or something similar, we can use that. You're going to need a medium to light pull-up assistance band, and you're going to need to anchor it to something, a heavy piece of equipment, a wall anchor, a squat rack, anything that is going to allow you to put tension on the bands without moving. Then we're going to step one leg into the band, and you're going to get it comfortable behind your knee. All right, so right above the knee on the lower thigh. We're going to take a couple of steps out so we've got plenty of tension. Then we're going to basically get into a forward low lunge position. Also good because we're going to now get a little stretch on the hip flexors, okay? So we're pushing forward. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to get this forward foot that the band is on of the leg rooted into the floor. We're going to make sure we feel really strong in our position. You can do whatever you want with your hands to feel stable and balanced. And then we're going to push the knee in against the band. It's going to really activate the adductors and the internal rotators of the femur. So we've stretched those tight muscles in the back of the hip. We're now activating, isolating, and strengthening those internal rotator muscles in the front side of the hip up into the groin area. I would hold it 5-second isometric, and then make sure you do a nice controlled eccentric action back. You can stop right when you get over the heel before you come back in. And you're going to continue to try to get that knee more and more, that femur more and more internally rotated without losing the tripod position of your foot. Make sure that forward foot stays rooted. I'm grabbing into the floor. I'm staying nice and tall. I'm stable in my low back and hips. Nothing is moving except this knee. And I would do 10 to 15 repetitions of these with a 3 to 5 second isometric hold and a nice controlled eccentric action back. And that is a great combination of exercises you can do if you are really tight in the back of your hips.